starts recording.
Right.
And then you pop.
The next one will just so I can give you
So hard to get.
Okay. Okay. So here we have the Cadillac. This is the side of the Cadillac. The crossbar here is typically about halfway up the Cadillac itself. If you notice, there's two different color springs here. We have the yellow spring, which is the light spring, and the purple, which is the heavy spring. And these are leg springs because the springs are longer. Usually arm springs are shorter. Yeah. Cord. Okay.
And it's moving.
Okay, perfect. All right, so here I have Jim set up for a leg warm-up in springs. If you notice, I have the crossbar at the midpoint, at the halfway point. He's in yellow springs here. Yeah. His legs are long currently. Bend your knees in towards tabletop, Jim. Yeah. So usually when I start a leg spring series, I start them sometimes, or I usually start them in a tabletop position like this. That way their pelvis is anchored. They can find their neutral and find their back. Yeah, so his pelvis is nice and anchored. From here, I usually have them press straight out. So press straight out, and then back in. Good. Press straight out, and then back in. Yeah. So here, I have them moving in parallel, which is usually the position that we are naturally, anatomy-wise, parallel. So I start from there. Good. Let's go last one. Press all the way out, and then go straight up to the ceiling, and then back down. So from here, I switch up to going up and down. It helps him fire the back of the legs, and also helps him to hinge at his hip, which keeps that pelvis down as well. Yeah, good. One more, press down, externally rotate your feet, heels together, going for a frog's gym, yeah. And then here I go back to where he's hinging at that deep hip to keep that pelvis down. Make sure he keeps it nice and anchored, still finding that neutral spine in his body. Good. Good. And here also, it also works those inner thighs. So I usually end my leg series with circles here. So press out, turn your legs to parallel. Good, then circles. In here, I end my series with parallel. That way they can get a little bit of a stretch. Yep. Perfect. Yeah. Good. One more to reverse. Good. And we always go in the reverse direction as well. It works the muscle differently. Sometimes gives a different stretch as well. Good, let's just go last one, then bend the legs back towards tabletop. Good, then bend the legs back towards tabletop. Perfect. Okay, all right, so from my understanding, this is the setup that Kim had during her session, the start of her session. A couple of things to notice are the hooks are at the top of the Cadillac here. And if you notice, the color is purple, which is the heavier of the springs. Okay. And another thing to notice here from the previous video, I had the yellow springs here as opposed to these outside hooks. The reason I did that is because if you look at his legs, it brings it more to a parallel position. So there are times that we do this, but if you notice, since these hooks are on the outside, what happens, it works his inner thighs to bring his feet to parallel. So it's already working those inner thighs to bring him to parallel. If you notice with this heavier tension, his tailbone will most likely be slightly lifted as well, because at this point, he's not able to keep that pelvis down. And when you're not warmed up, you won't have that, that strength yet, or that ability to keep his pelvis down. So here, this is definitely an exercise that would not be considered a warm-up. It'd be something more later on in the session. Like, let's say if I want to articulate his spine up and off the mat, that's where I would put the springs at. Other than that, I would never put springs at the top, hooks like this.
Okay. And